Hello, everyone. We're live. We're live. So excited to see y'all. I haven't gone live in a really long time. And if you are not new here, then you know going live is like my thing. And so I'm happy to be front facing again. I am happy to share with you what we've been up to. So I'm glad that you are here. So if you are new to me, my name is Jermaine Guillaume. I am the CEO of Visionary Accounting Group, where we service nonprofit organizations with outsourced accounting support. So you can think of us as the extension to the management team in managing, and we manage all things like fiscal operations. So that's bookkeeping, accounting, controllership services, with an emphasis on audit prep. And just recently, today, we have opened the doors to something new. It is the Accounting for Good membership. Now, if you're also not new around here, then you know earlier this year, we hosted the Accounting for Good virtual conference. It was our first year putting on such a thing. It is, we do have the plan to make it annual, but on the back of that, we realized that there really is a gap in the space around content, specifically educational content, that goes beyond the surface for nonprofits related to fiscal operations, finance, accounting, right? And so as an accounting firm and someone who we consistently put out content via blog posts, social, YouTube videos, right? We wanted to fill that gap. And so, you know, we often have clients who, or potential clients who come to us and they may not be ready, right, for ongoing services. They might be new, right, growing, but they deserve to have support too. And a lot of times, you know, while you may be very driven as it relates to your mission, you may be, you know, really gung ho getting this thing off the ground. That doesn't make you an accounting expert, right? And nonprofit accounting is very different. And so, I think I've started to get into the why behind this membership, right? But these are some of the reasons why we started to toy with the idea of what can we be doing for those who are not ready to work with us, who don't necessarily need this ongoing one-to-one partnership or relationship, but they are in need of a place where they can ask questions. Some of you, you know, sometimes will send me DMs, you'll comment under my videos, and it's too much to try to answer in that forum. And so sometimes I can give you an answer, but you might need more. And that's what this community was created for. So for you to get in, ask questions, but also not only get access to me, right? I am not the star of this show. Okay. But it is we have created this space for you to ask questions and get answers from me, other accounting experts that we'll have in the group, and also your peers, people who are going through the same challenges as you, have the same questions, right? You might be asking a question that someone has already addressed and went through and they can answer for you, or you might be asking a question that they had, but they didn't think to ask, right? And so, so that's the goal. And so I want to be clear. This is not a content dump. I think sometimes we get so focused on more. And then a lot of times, think about it. How much do you really have time to consume? And so I want to be clear. This is not a content dump, and we are not trying to kill you with content. But what we are doing is providing a space for you to come in, ask your questions, right? Get your questions answered, right? We don't want to leave you on red. We don't want to give you crickets, right? But then also, and I think we can kind of get into what is inside in a minute, but we don't want to, what I was saying was we don't want to just overload you with content that you're constantly consuming, but you're not acting on it, right? And so who is this for? So before we get into, hello, thank you for joining. So before we get into what all is inside, let's talk about who this is for. So the main audience that the community is for are for those organizations or those nonprofit leaders that are new to leading or running a nonprofit. It is their first time, right? So those who are either new or first time nonprofit executive directors, because you may not be new to the nonprofit space, right? We have some people who play the background, and then, you know, once doing operations, but now they are, they've been promoted into the executive director seat. So it's for those who are either new or first time nonprofit executive directors. Now, we will not shut away seasoned executive directors, those who want to come and ask their questions. But what I will say is I have found that those who tend to ask, find me online and DM me and ask the most questions, it's typically those who are like, I have not done this before. This is my first time. What am I doing? What should I be doing? And so that's who this membership was created for. So what can you expect? So of course, the base of this is the discussion forums. The discussion forums, we've separated it into sections, right? There are areas, the main areas that we know that typically you have questions around. So that's like bookkeeping, tools, tech, right? So software, grant management, audit prep, and 990. Right. So those are kind of like the base areas. And if you get in there and we find that there are some other topics that tend to come up over and over, then we'll make adjustments. Because remember, this is just our first iteration. We have plans for this community. Okay. And so your feedback is going to be very important for us, especially, during these beginning stages, because we don't want to create anything that you don't want. And so so the discussion forums, software demos. This is something I'm super excited about, because what I noticed on YouTube is my videos where I'm talking through a this versus this, like a software wars almost, those kind of get the most views. And so I know sometimes I get asked like, well, what's the best software for donor management? What's the best software for this? So we are going to be inviting in software providers to come in and demo their tools for you. And so you get to choose though, like you tell us, and then we'll reach out. And so software demos, office hours. So you can show up live and ask your questions and get in-depth responses, right? Things that we can't typically do through text, like via text. And so there are office hours once a month, and there's also a masterclass once a month. And so when you get inside the community, you'll see that we already have an events calendar there that goes through the next kind of like 6 months of what's on, what we have planned. And then there is the ability to book one-to-one consulting with me that is not available anywhere else. I do not offer one-on-one support. When people choose to come on and work with us, they work with the firm, right? Like the team. But I have often been asked like, can I just meet with you to go over my chart of accounts and make sure this looks right? Or can I just do XYZ? So there will also be opportunities to book those one-to-one consulting calls with me. And so that's the base of what's in there, right? Oh, and not to mention templates. I forgot. So there are a couple of templates already in there, and we will continue to add. And again, this is, this will also be based off of what you're asking for, what you're requesting, but based off of some of the resources that we already use with our clients, we have begun to drop those already in the community. So when you get in, you'll have immediate access to download those, to customize them, and use them for your organization. So what are our goals for the future? So like I mentioned, this is first iteration. And so we really want to be the number one resource for nonprofit, first time or new nonprofit executive directors who are looking to get a grasp around the financial direction of their organization. So how to lead their organization from a financial perspective, right? So creating a budget, making sure you are using the correct software, making sure it is integrating with the correct tools. Are you getting the correct month-end reports, setting up a month-end process, right? So these are some of the topics, right? But this is the home for that, right? And we want to be the number one resource for that. Some additional goals, we'll be creating mini courses. So for now, we'll be going live once, there'll be live master classes once a month, but we will begin to, based off of where we see the need, create mini courses that you will have instant access to watch, take notes, go back and implement, right? Expert sessions. So again, this is not the Jermeen show. So our goal is to bring in also experts for different areas that you've expressed interest in learning about. And so there'll be expert sessions. And then one of the other things that I'm super excited about is creating a private space within the community for other bookkeepers or accountants that want to serve nonprofits, because many remember I used to have DGA, which was Do Good Accounting Coaching Program, but we did close it just due to the demand of clients at the firm. And that is our, that is pretty much the crux of what we do. And so trying to also carry a coaching program with that was a bit much. And so we have taken a lot of those resources and those tools, and we are customizing them and repurposing them so that they can be a part of the Accounting for Good community membership. And so remember, you drive this. This is something that we have made for you. And so doors are open. I am dropping the link in the chat. Yeah, the doors are open. It is $99 a month. And if you are one of the first 50 people to get in there, you lock in that price forever, right? You become a founding member, which we so appreciate. And you lock in that price forever, because as we continue to, of course, massage and create this, make this community better, there is the potential for an increase. And so, yeah, that really is all. Like, I really wanted to just come on here and talk you through just the why behind the community, what you can expect before dropping the link and showing that it is open. If there are any questions, you can drop them in the chat. But if not, head over, get in there, ask your questions, introduce yourself. I believe our first office hour is scheduled for October 1st, but prior to that, we are going to be having a new member social, which I think is going to be next week, where we'll come in, we got a little something planned. So I'm not going to give it all away. You got to get in there. But if you have any questions, please feel free to drop them in the in the comments. And if not, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. Thank you for listening, for watching, for supporting me, supporting Visionary Accounting Group. This has been such a joy to create, and I am really hoping that if this is an area where you struggle, where you often have a lot of questions, this is going to be for you. Someone says, hi, confirming you mentioned this is also for accounting professionals looking into nonprofit niche. So yes, it will be, but we have not, if you get in there now, there is nothing made specifically for you. That is one of the things that we are carving out a private space for, but it'll be within the community. And so we want to at first leave it exclusively for nonprofit executive directors. However, we will be opening up a private space as part of this community for other accounting or bookkeeping professionals that want to get into the nonprofit space. And so stay close. We'll be announcing it, of course. That will be probably about Q1, Q2 of next year, because we want the leaders of the nonprofits to get in there first and kind of take a dive, ask their questions, give their feedback, so that we can continue to make this better and make this a community that's going to actually be valuable. Because we're not just doing this just to do it. We want to make sure that this is something that you want and it is fulfilling a need. Any other questions? Okay, I think that's it. But again, if you have questions later, find me on LinkedIn. Drop me a note and I will respond. I'm very responsive. But yeah, thank you guys so much for rocking with me, for rocking with Visionary Accounting Group. We will continue to share updates that are going on in the community, any changes or things that have been added. We'll share just so that you know that this is a work in progress. Right? We're really, really, really excited to get this out into the world, and we're really looking forward to continuing to make it better. And so thank you guys, and I will talk to you soon.